Hello and welcome to the 1v1 show. It's your boy, Geo Huey Flow, welcoming you to the place all things niche, nerd, and pop culture. We got a dope show for y'all today. So, we're going to talk about this week's news and pop culture. And now, as always, here's my co-host, the man behind the boards, introducing Mikey, aka Hyphy Soul.
There we go. Got my mic this time. But what's up, everyone? If you're new to the 1v1 show and what we do here, how we conduct the show is by starting off with 10 topics from the news this week regarding Netflix, Amazon, video games, and so much more. Each topic will have a timer of 5 minutes, with the last two topics just being a little bit longer. And after that, we'll be discussing our top 5. And this week is going to be what are your top 5 movie villains. And we don't just end there. Finishing off today's episode will be our 1v1 showdown where Gio and our guest host will take sides on a debate. And the debate today is, can video games make good movies? We'll find out later. And if you guys like what we do here, please give us a follow on our socials. On IG, Twitter, and you can support us on Patreon where we have 3 tiers. $3 will get you a roll credit at the end of the episode. $5 will let you submit any topic that you want. And $10 you can sponsor us by plugging anything you want as long as it's appropriate. But the best way to support us is by just participating with us in the chat. And so we are a video podcast, but we also have an audio podcast. So we are currently on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, and Google Music. So if you aren't able to catch us live on either Twitch or YouTube, you can find us on there. And just know that the post show won't make it to the audio podcast. So just be sure to tune in to our live shows for that. And our guest today, he is a cinematographer, filmmaker, working as a commercial producer that is a big lover of film, video games, and always likes a good beer. And happens to be one of the other 12 Sacramento Kings fan other than Gio. Here is Angel. How you doing today?
What's up, you guys? Thanks so much for having me on the show, man. I think there's more than 12 Kings fans in the world, so if you go to a game, I'd love to take you guys out to a game here in Sac, so you guys see that there's more than 12 of us. Thank you very much.
No, man. It's you, me, and like 11 other people there.
Yeah.
The games get packed when we're good. I'm okay with people not going to the games because
It makes it cheap.
it makes it cheap, but also like you got to hurt their pockets if they're doing bad. You know what I mean? Like that's how things change. You hurt their pockets, things will change. Anywho.
And for the record, Gio wrote that intro.
I was gonna have him introduced as the #1 Lakers fan, but he said he'd start yelling obscenities and get us banned.
Yeah, I had a whole dictionary of words that'll get you banned on Twitch, and I was gonna yell them all.
All right. On that note, let's get the show started with our first topic of the day, and we'll start with Gio telling us about a certain sequel about some successful movie, and we're happy to get a franchise about it now. Tell us more about it, Gio.
All right, so this actually might be one of my most anticipated movies of the year because I still think that Sonic the Hedgehog 1, the first movie, was actually the best movie of 2020. Like, I know COVID happened and all that, but, you know, Sonic the Hedgehog 1 was the best movie of 2020. Also, Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik was probably better than Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. It was great. It was a masterpiece. But anyways, you know, jokes aside, the sequel just had a new trailer where they're facing off not only against Dr. Robotnik, but also against Idris Elba's Knuckles, which, you know, if you haven't seen the trailer, I would say watch it just to see Idris Elba voice Knuckles because it's pretty hilarious. And here's the thing, Sonic isn't going to be alone in this game. He still has the human like friend he has from the first movie, but also Tails is going to be in the second one. And I'm super excited for it because there is they've released a poster for the movie which looks just like the box art for the second game. And I think for all big Sonic fans, that was such a huge like nostalgia hit. And I'm so ready for this movie. Anyways, what about you, Angel? Did you see the first Sonic movie?
I haven't watched the first Sonic movie. I think ever since they debacled the debacle of the trailer where he looked really ugly, I was just turned off of the movie. But then they fixed it, and I heard that it was actually a pretty fun movie. I don't think I got excited about watching the first movie until I saw the trailer for the second movie. And now that I've seen the trailer for the second movie, I really want to watch the first one to kind of catch up, watch the second one. I'm a big fan of the extended Sonic universe. So I'm hoping to see some Tails, some Knuckles. He's my favorite character. Hoping he turns good. Spoiler alert, probably. I don't know. But yeah, I'm excited to watch the second one. So I'll probably watch the first one here soon.
Yeah. I mean, they had a trailer not that long ago, but they just released the final trailer, which shows more of like Robotnik's Eggman and stuff like that. And not Jim Carrey's Eggman or Robotnik. I have a theory about Robotnik in the movies that at the end of the first one, he like goes bald and grows like the mustache. And I think at the end of this one, that's when he's gonna get actually like fat. Like Dr. Robotnik, like he's progressively going to get more and more Robotnik-like.
Gotcha. That makes sense because I think I was a little turned off initially because he was like Jim Carrey and he's like a twig. Yeah. And I've always known him to be a bigger guy. So yeah, maybe he does put on some extra pounds. Maybe the stress from having to fight Sonic so much has some stress eating and gaining some lbs like we want to see him.
Exactly. Also, what I think is cool too, and I don't think this is something that was talked about, is that the voice actress Colleen O'Shaughnessy, who plays Tails in the games, is actually voicing him in the movies.
Oh, I had no idea. That's actually super dope. Yeah, that's super awesome. Yeah, that's actually cool.
It's kind of weird though that they basically gave Sonic and Knuckles like new voice actors, but they kept Tails the same. But like honestly, like I can't think of a celebrity whose voice for Tails would have made sense.
Yeah, like who do you want to see? Like I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know that I have somebody in mind that I'm like, yeah, that's the person that needs to.
Like I guess for like Sonic, Ben Schwartz, like a Sonic voice is really not that hard, really to make. Like it's kind of like that. Like just think of like a '90s like cartoon character, like a little nasally, like high energy like type voice. So you could get like a bunch of actors to do that, but for Tails, I don't know who you could. I don't know who you could put.
I do love Idris Elba as Knuckles. He sounds incredibly intimidating, and that's exactly how I like my Knuckles. So
exactly. Do I look like I need your power? It's like, oh fuck.
Yeah, it's like, yo, I got my own power, guy. Don't come up here thinking that you're somebody. All right.
Exactly. Like hopefully the sequel though, because like they already announced Sonic 3. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't.
Yeah, they announced Sonic 3 already, so they must be super confident in this one. And they also announced an HBO Max, I believe, or was it Paramount? No, the Paramount Plus Knuckles TV show.
Oh, okay. That'd be really fun. I'm excited about that. Idris Elba is one of my favorite people in general, so more of him is always going to be awesome to me, even if it's just a voiceover. That's crazy that they already announced a third one, so they're expecting this to be popular. I'm assuming the first one did really well, but also like how many movies came out last year, or you know what I mean, in 2020 or whatever, whenever it came out. So I think numbers could be kind of inflated because of that, but this will be a real test of to whether or not this franchise has potential, and I think it probably does. It looks exciting.
Exactly. I mean, the games really haven't been the best lately, but maybe the movies will be.
Yeah, and I love like it's playing off of like the Batman thing in the beginning. Like he thinks he's a capes crusader, and like it's just fun. It's funny. It's not scared to be humorous, which it shouldn't because it's not a very serious type of movie. But I love that they're doing little references like that to kind of build some hype.
All right, moving on. So we go from the Blue Blur to one of Marvel's new young superheroes. Angel, tell me what's going on with this Marvel trailer.
Yeah, so Marvel's dropping a new superhero, I guess. Kamala Khan goes from daydreaming about superheroes to becoming one in the first trailer of Miss Marvel for Marvel Studios' upcoming series centering on the teenager. Canadian newcomer Iman Vellani, excuse me, I do the Y's for my double L sometimes. That's a problem. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Stars as Kamala, a New Jersey high school student student and mega fan of her world's superheroes, especially Captain Marvel. The series, which debuts June 8th on Disney Plus, follows Kamala as she balances school, family, and her newfound superpowers. I'm always a fan of like the teenage superhero story. I think that's what made like Spider-Man so awesome back in the day, like when you were reading the comics or watching the animated series. So bringing that kind of thing to a new series, I think will be a lot of fun. I'm not very familiar with Miss Marvel as far as who that is at all, but I'm always excited for new Marvel stuff because I don't really think they miss a lot. So especially these TV shows have all been really good.
Yeah, I mean the only thing for me is I don't like the change in her powers. Is that like if you watch you've seen the trailer, right?
No, yeah, I have seen the trailer. Yeah.
So you know how like her power is more like kind of like energy projecting crystal thing, where like she makes a big fist with it. Like in the comics, her actual powers is she actually physically embiggens her like limbs and herself. So what I don't like about it is that for me, her actual like powers, they're a little grotesque, like being able to make your like body bigger and like at will, and it kind of with her character is a lot of like teenage girl self-image issues, and having these kind of weird looking powers kind of adds to that. But her being able to accept her powers also helps her being able to accept her own like physical appearance. So I think that kind of takes away. I mean, like I said, I haven't seen this adaptation yet, but I mean, like you said, like Disney very rarely misses. I think they run a tight ship there to where basically if they believe the product is going to be shit, they're not going to put it out. I mean, there's been like mid Marvel movies, I would say. Like Thor 2 for me was pretty mid. Iron Man 2 as well. But I don't think they ever put out anything that's been like truly like, yo, this is bad. Well, I don't know. Like some people might say the Eternals, but I didn't think it was horrible.
I haven't watched Eternals, but I heard that it wasn't very good either. But yeah, I agree. I don't think that they've released anything that's terrible. They maybe released things that are meh, but I don't know that they released anything that's terrible. And I also don't think that they've released anything that's been meh for a minute, except for maybe the Eternals. I guess that might be the exception. But the shows that they've released on Disney Plus to me were a lot of fun. I like them all a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping. Which one's my favorite? I would probably say Loki.
Same.
There's something about his like redemption arc that I liked a lot. I don't know. I'm always a fan of redemption arcs because I guess I'm just like I guess I just see the good in people. I don't know, but yeah. So I thought that was a lot of fun. The Captain or the Falcon and the Winter Soldier one to me was the weakest one, but it was still fun. It was still a good show. Like I wouldn't necessarily say it was terrible, but and then the nostalgia that came from WandaVision to me was just amazing.
Yeah. I would say, yeah, you're right. I would say most of the Disney Netflix shows are really pretty good. I think for the most part, for me, I think Wanda and Winter Soldier and the Falcon kind of botched their endings a little bit, but
yeah. I agree.
I would say that, for the most part, it was good quality product. I think Loki, for me, the reason why I think it stuck the ending the most.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But also it had the most like, oh, snap, like moments like week to week where you're like, oh, like you still, it's like, because it's a mystery and you're slowly unraveling it. And that was great.
And Disney is also bringing back the weekly episode. And there's something about that I like a lot, rather than putting an episode out or putting all the episodes out at once. There's something really cool about its episodic nature that gets everybody talking about the episode each week, which is a good thing. HBO does it too. And I think that coming back is a really good thing because it's nostalgic of when we used to watch TV shows as kids when they were like on real TV.
What's up, Buzzkill Lightyear? This guy. What's up, dog? Anyways, let's move on to our next topic. FLCL getting 2 more sequels. So, March 17th marks the 25th anniversary of Toonami, the pretty much programming block for because you're about like what? You're like what? A couple years younger than me.
Yeah, I am 29.
Yeah, so you're 2 or 3 years younger than me, depending on what time of the month or time of the year.
What time of
Uh, time of the month, time of the year.
Yeah.
The the programming block, which basically for our generation, kind of introduced a lot of us to anime,
Yeah.
right? And it's come they one of the want to say marquee shows was FLCL, also known as Fooly Cooly. That when did it come out? Actually, let me look that up real quick. But it was essentially the first for most of us, because a lot of the early Toonami shows were very much shonens. Like, it's like fighting, like Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho. They were all mostly like, oh, like the cool guys are gonna fight the bad guys, and as young boys, we very much like all liked it. And then Toonami in 2000 came out with FLCL. Well, they didn't come out with it, but they showed it, and it was the weirdest anime. I think for me, it was my first introduction to weird anime, because it was like, this girl who's an alien with a guitar hitting this boy on the head, and it also dealt with a lot of pretty much coming of age storytelling, with him, being a young boy, coming to grips with like growing up, and kind of a little bit of an existential crisis, and also like just dealing with women. So it's like very like young boy grows up in this like weird anime backdrop. So they announced that they were going to come out. It was sequels. I want to say, when did the sequels release? They were okay in 2016. The sequels were announced, and they were going to have two new series: FLC Progressive and FLC Alternative. And they weren't met with good. What's the word?
Reviews?
Yeah, they was not met with good receptions from fans or critics. And to me, it's strange that they just announced that they're coming out with two more sequels: FLC Grunge and FLC Shoegaze, which they're gonna be. It's gonna be co-produced by Project IG, which did Ghost in the Shell and Psychopaths, and Studio Nut, which is a funny name. It did FLC Alternative and Decadence, which I've seen an episode of Decadence, so that show's pretty good. I mean, it looks nice. A little bit weird on like they go to like towards more the 3D like CGI animation, which I don't really like in my anime. But I don't know. Like, have you seen? You said you haven't seen these before, right?
I haven't watched Fooly Cooly. Yeah, I had a friend let me borrow his box collection for a while, and I kept it for a year and a half. And then he wanted it back, and he's like, how what'd you think of it? And I was like, I'm gonna be honest, man, I didn't watch it. It looked weird. I've heard a lot of people stand by it. But I've always been a fan of exactly what you were saying, like the shonens. I was a fan of Dragon Ball Z. I was a fan of Yu Yu Hakusho. Was it like Zatch Bell? Some of these weird ones that they used to show back in the day.
I love Zatch Bell.
Yeah, those were the ones that I was like a fan of when I was watching Toonami as a kid.
Yeah.
So Fooly Cooly never really like interested me, but I always hear about these animes that people stand by, and that's one of them. People really love it, and
yeah, it's a little like, no, I would say a little avant-garde.
Like experimental anime.
Yeah, I want to say it was for a lot of Americans like our first like experimental anime, or just like where you're like just like this makes, because like you said, like the plot is usually like these are the bad guys, these are the good guys, and they're gonna fight. But like this is kind of more of like, or how do I say this? Have you seen Evangelion?
No.
Okay.
You're gonna name a bunch of animes I haven't watched.
Okay. Have you seen Gundam?
Yeah, I used to watch Gundam a little bit as a kid. Yeah.
So like, think of it like this way: like Evangelion was like, it seems like Gundam, like a mecha anime, but the more you watch it, the more you're like, yo, what is this? What is going on here?
Okay.
Yeah, like I want to say Fooly Cooly is a little bit like just like kind of in that same gear where you watch it and you think that it's going one way, but then it's just really out there and weird and strange. But I love FLCL.
Yeah, I think the thing is that when weird, strange things like that come out, I think it kind of solidifies people's weird, strange ideas as not being super weird, and that like other people also find this type of thing interesting. So all these type of shows and stuff like that have like a place. You know what I mean? And hopefully the sequel's good. Hopefully people receive it well.
We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. So next we go to a story about Netflix. What's going on there, Angel?
Are you going to stop sharing your password? Sharing your Netflix password with someone for free outside of your household may soon be a thing of the past. In a new news release posted to its website Wednesday, the streaming giant announced that it will begin testing ways to make user sharing an account outside of the household pay for the additional member. Now, this is going to screw up a lot of people's Netflix accounts and watching habits, because it's pretty crazy. I mean, you know, I hope I'm not self-incriminating myself right now, but I share an account with my sister. My sister pays. We all pay for like a different streaming service, and then we share passwords, right? So that we're all only paying like 20, $35 or something like that each, instead of having all of them and paying like $100 a month or whatever. So so this is gonna suck. I think a lot of other streaming services are probably gonna follow suit. I'm wondering like why the push now? Like are they cash poor or something? Like what's going on? Like why are they just greedy? That's very much a possibility, right? Like are they just like, yeah, we've been missing out on this money for years? I get it from a business standpoint. I also from a consumer standpoint, I think they're awful. So you know, it kind of depends on how the market moves. Are the businesses going to start doing this too? And are they going to suffer from it? Are people going to unsubscribe because of this? I kind of doubt it, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think now it could possibly hurt them in the fact that they're not the only like players in the game right now.
Yeah, very much so, dude. Like there's back in the day when they were like I mean, to be 100, they started this whole thing, this whole streaming thing. Like they are the people who started this. And it's this monster now that other people have adopted, and you guys aren't the only people in the game anymore. So yeah, maybe some people think that their IPs are a little lackluster, right? You know, I think I like a lot of the stuff that they have, but I think people probably gravitate towards the Disney Plus thing a little more. They definitely will gravitate towards the HBO thing a little more. So you know, they're not the only people in town anymore. So maybe it'll backfire on them. Who knows? But I definitely don't want to pay extra on Netflix to watch, because also like the idea is that I could watch it on the go as well, like on your phone. How do they track that? Like, how do they know that this phone? I don't know. It's like if I'm at a friend's house and I just want to put my information in real quick to watch a movie that I want to watch, even if they don't keep like. There's a lot of weird things. I don't know exactly how they're gonna track this. It's probably through like IP addresses or whatever.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a way that we can be able to cheat this with like VPNs and stuff like that. I don't know. We'll see. But not exactly the best news to be hearing. But it is what it is. They can do what they want, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, it is just kind of like when it comes to like, you know, Netflix is a big corporation. Like, why are they doing this? Like, they make enough money. I think this is just a product of unchecked capitalism to where, how do I say this? Like if Netflix is making like a profit of like, let's say $500 million like this year, and then the next year they make a profit of like 450 million, like to them that seems as a loss because they're not constantly making more and more profit, even though they are making like still $450 a year. So that's going to cause them to say, hey, what's the word? They say, hey, there's something wrong here. We got to make more money. We got to make more. We got to go after these dollars that we're missing out on. Anyways, I did see that we got a new follower. I actually didn't catch the name. The thing went super fast on me. Mikey, did you catch who that was?
shout out to Hello Trance for the follow.
Oh, what's up, Hella Trance? Oh, what's up, dog? What up? What up? Okay. this is this is essentially what the show has become over time.
It's just people dogging on you.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why. I have.
Oh, come on. Come on. You know why. Stop it.
No, I have the best. I have the most welcoming personality.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
100%. I hate it out there.
that's funny.
Anyways, what's up, Hella Trance? Thank you for tuning in. Moving on to our next topic, we are going to the worlds of DC, where a very unlikely villain is getting his own spin-off show. Hell yeah. Harley Quinn's Kite Man is getting his very own spin-off show. The Batman, former this might be a little bit of a spoiler for the Harley Quinn show, but Poison Ivy's former fiance is getting a new TV show where it's essentially him having a cheer-style comedy at a bar called Noonan's, where a bunch of DC Universe henchmen go to hang out when they're not working for the big-name villains and go and, just kick back or grab a couple of beers. So you see Kite Man trying to run by himself, and in the first episode, they're going to have Harley and Ivy appear, but then you're going to have other villains such as Lex Luthor and Bane, and like I said earlier, it's going to be a cheer-style supervillain TV show, which I'm actually really excited for. This is, of course, a spinoff of the HBO Max Harley Quinn show, which, if you haven't seen, I highly recommend it. Have you seen the Harley Quinn show, Angel?
I haven't. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I think that there was like a story about it last year at some point because there was something controversial that happened in it or something. I don't remember, but
I remember.
Yeah, but I think DC does like the animated thing much better than Marvel does.
Yeah.
And so I mean I haven't started watching it. It's been on my to-do list. I've been catching up on some DCU stuff recently. But yeah, I'm definitely going to give it a watch. And I'm not exactly familiar with Kite Man very much, but this idea of it being kind of like a cheer style comedy is an extremely unique take on a superhero villain type show, which is I'm all in. I'm always in for things that are different. And it'd be interesting to see all these other villains coming into the fold. I'm assuming they're all coming into the fold and like discussing their problems with him or whatever. Like, yeah, I doubt it doesn't seem like it's going to be a very actiony type show. But I'm all here for it.
So, if you haven't seen the Harley Quinn show, it's very much a very rated R adult style, like, animated show. It's very violent, very gory, and the controversy you were talking about is I want to say last year, the creators of the show were talking about how they were going to have a scene where Catwoman talks about her sex life and about how Batman likes to eat the box.
Yeah, and they said that the superheroes don't eat. That's funny. No, superheroes definitely eat the box. Stop it. Come on, get out of here. His mask is made for it and everything. What are we talking about here? Like,
exactly. Like, there was definitely there were definitely jokes on Twitter about that, which is pretty hilarious.
Yes. Yeah, no, I'm giving the show a watch. Did they actually like not include that in the show then?
No, they didn't, because this was when they were during production, DC told them to cut it out, and they were like, all right, whatever. And then they said it at like a fan panel, and then it kind of blew up.
No backbone, bro. No, stop it.
Yeah, but
stop it.
It's pretty good. Like the show has a lot of characterizations of like Batman characters that are a little wacky and wild. Like for example, like, Bane in the show is like a parody of the Tom Hardy one, where he's like he talks like this and does the voice. It's
I was born in the darkness. You merely adopted it.
Yeah. And I do really like the characterizations and kind of the story arcs where it definitely takes Batman in not a direction that you would expect, but also it makes sense at the same time. So it's really good. I honestly, because between this and then Young Justice, which I don't know. Have you seen it, Young Justice?
No, my little brother is very heavy on Young Justice, though. He says it's really good. He's been watching it since like it came out initially, because I think they took like a break or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they came out with a couple seasons and then they stopped for a really long time and then they started up again.
Yeah.
He's super into it. He's always telling me to watch it, so I'm probably gonna give it a watch at some point here.
The closest thing to the old Justice League cartoon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a big fan of the Justice League cartoon back in the day. They're all on HBO now, and I've been wanting to like watch Teen Titans too, like the original Teen Titans. I fucking love that show.
Yeah.
And so I kind of want to go back and watch all those, but time, man, don't have enough of it. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Sometimes you got to be selective.
Maybe I'll do it in summer when I got like 2 months off.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, make sure I get the summers off.
and 2 weeks in Christmas. A week for November.
Man,
spring break.
You got the job, bro. What the heck?
And I'll pay. But yeah, anyways, I said I might teach summer school. I'm trying to get some extra moolah. trying to save up for a trip to Japan.
Oh, I've been wanting to go to Japan too, man. Kind of hopping back on that anime thing. I don't know. I just always wanted I want to visit like Tokyo, and then I want to visit somewhere that's just like country as fuck in Japan. You know what I mean? And I just want to see like both. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So we go from DC to Marvel. What's going on there?
Daredevil. How much will they take from Netflix? A Daredevil reboot is reportedly set to enter production and will apparently be a Disney Plus MCU series. The show is listed as a Disney Plus series currently in development, with the head of Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige, and Chris Gary mentioned as producers. No timing is given to when the show will begin production, nor do we know what the cast is going to be, except for I'm pretty sure we are confirmed that it's Charlie Cox is returning as Daredevil. He's MCU canon now. Spoiler if you haven't watched the Spider-Man movie, but he's in there. So I mean, I absolutely love Netflix's Daredevil series. To me, they did like a bunch of them, like Jessica Jones and what's the other dude's name? The big dude,
Luke Cage, and then
Iron Fist. And Iron Fist. Oh, and Punisher.
Punisher.
Yeah. I think Daredevil was the only one that had consistently good seasons. The rest of them were kind of meh. Like some of them had good, like Jessica Jones, the first season was really good. I never liked the Luke Cage show. I thought it was kind of boring. And then Punisher, to me, the first season was really good. Iron Fist, I never watched, but I heard really bad things about. So Daredevil to me was always the one that just kept it consistent. I remember it came out when we were like in college, I think, Gio, and everybody talked about like the fighting scene in the first season when he's like fighting down the hallway and the choreography. And it was just, there's so much great attention to detail to that show. The choreography, the action, the story, the acting, all the characters were pretty good. And even when I thought it was going to be awful after Defenders, when they came out with the third season for Daredevil, I was like, oh, this probably isn't going to be good. It surprised me. It was actually really, really good. So I'm hoping that they keep that same energy for these, but I think a lot of people's concerns right now with it being on Disney is that they might PG it up a little bit, because it wasn't PG in Netflix, right? So Disney Plus is a lot more of a family friendly platform. We're a little scared that they might make it a little too family friendly and kind of take the edge away from the characters and the show.
I mean, they've already been, because they have them on Disney Plus now, all the Netflix shows, and there have already been like parent groups like complaining to Disney, like, "Oh my God, you're ruining your brand, having these violent shows," and it's just like, shut up. Like, shut up.
Yeah. I think to me it's a lazy excuse to not parent your kids personally, but that's just my take. I also don't have kids, so my opinion might change if I had kids. But like, dude, just like tell your kids those are off limits. Like, your kids shouldn't be watching TV without you kind of supervising what they're watching anyways. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you see that they put on this freaking PG-13 rated, because it's not like R-rated, there's not like nudity in there, you know what I mean? Or they're not terrible. Like,
I think in Jessica Jones, like, there's a lot of sexual, like.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. It's been a minute. You might be right.
Yeah.
But regardless, right? Like if you see they pop on something like that, then you should just shut that down. Like be a parent. I don't know. There's a lot of really good Disney Plus IPs that we want to see be a little more adult. And that might be what like starts to slowly shift the tide in DC's favor, because DC has no problem making their content adult. All their content has been all the new DCU stuff. As much as the DCU to me just sucks. Justice League wasn't good. I haven't watched the Snyder Cut, but I do plan on watching that. Batman vs Superman sucked, right? The first Suicide Squad sucked. These new things that they're pulling out are really good. Peacemaker was really good. The new Suicide Squad was really good. I know this Harley Quinn show isn't technically DCU; it's animated, but I've heard that's really good. So the tides might shift if they're not willing to get a little down and dirty with their IPs.
And even like the new Batman movies, it's pretty. It's not family friendly, but it's not like rated R. But they're able to take kind of like toe the line between PG-13 and rated R.
Yeah, and when I went to go watch the new Batman, there was kids there. There was, I wouldn't say there was like little kids. There wasn't like 3-year-olds there. But there were kids that were like 9, 10, 11, 12, like in that age range that want to go see it with their parents. And hey, man, like if you think that you can, present that stuff to your kid in a way that doesn't traumatize them or that doesn't ruin them or whatever, and you think that you can handle that parenting task, then let them watch that type of stuff. But I don't know that it's Disney Plus's job to parent your kids. Like I don't know. Yeah. We'll see what happens. I just think that they would be doing a disservice if they made it too family friendly. Yeah.
All right. So next topic, we go from the PG-13 superhero movies to a rated R horror video game, The Quarry, that is the spiritual successor to Until Dawn, which came out, I want to say in 2017, 2016. It's 2015. It's even earlier than that. So Until Dawn, if you haven't played it or haven't heard of it, was a game that came out where it was very much like an interactive movie where you're going through the story, and there's actual celebrities who are actually doing mocap for some of the parts, like Rami Malek, Hayden, or what's her name, Hayden Panettiere. They were playing 2 of the lead roles in Until Dawn, and Supermassive Games has announced the spiritual successor called The Quarry, where you got to make high pressure decisions which could have consequences, which you could keep characters alive or also see them get killed off in very brutal fashions. Now, let me read you some of the cast for this game. You have Ariel Winter, who was in Modern Family, David Arquette from the Scream franchise, who is pretty much a horror legend. You have Brenda Song, who you might know from The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. You have Justice Smith, who was in Detective Pikachu and also in Jurassic Fallen World. You have a couple other people here. Halston Sage, who was Neighbors and X-Men Dark Phoenix. And, there's a whole, cast of people. Some names here that I'm not really aware of. I mean, Angel, you have the list there. Is anyone in there that I see that's from stuff that you know?
Not that I can see. I'm looking at it right now. Ethan Suplee. I think Wolf of Wall Street. Remember the Titans. My name is Earl. Yes, I think I do know who that guy is. But other than that, a lot of actors' names that I'm not exactly completely familiar with. Zach Tinker, 13 Reasons Why. I'm not exactly sure who that is.
So this popped out to me. Lynn Shay, who was in Insidious, The Grudge, and in Ouija.
Oh,
that's a lot of horror movies. Like, they're probably someone that I've seen, but I can't recognize the name to the face.
Yeah, I thought that was Eva Longoria for a minute, but it's Evagora. I was excited there for a minute that we had an Eva Longoria sighting in this game. But I mean, I'm not familiar with the previous games of this, but I watched the trailer just a second ago, and I like these type of like video games where they introduce like actors and stuff like that to play the characters, like Jedi Fallen Order for Star Wars, or I'm trying to think of other ones, but I can't think of any to my head. The Last of Us with Ellen Page. No, I'm joking. But it looks like a really cool horror game, and I think like it's like very story based, right? Like it's not a video game where you're gonna see a lot of action, I guess. And these games kind of like popularized, I think, like in the early 2010s of like these horror games that people love playing, and it seems like they're trying to ride the wave now. And I'm gonna give it a watch for sure. I'm gonna give it a play. It looks pretty cool.
The first game, I played it kind of in an environment where it was a bunch of friends. Like we were kind of around a TV, and we would pass the controller when it would switch off like from character to character. And it's very like high pressure, like quick time events where you got to make a decision fast.
Mm-hmm.
And if you make the wrong decision, like your character will die. So it's very.
Is that it though? They die and like that's it, or like you start over?
No, like well, sometimes it started over. Sometimes the story just moves on.
That's that's very interesting. It's like a pick your own adventure type thing.
Exactly.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So like at the end of the game, like different characters' fates, or like some characters, like well, if you make like a decision and the character gets injured, at the end of the game they're alive, but later on you find out like, oh, like they actually died from their injuries after the end. You're like, that sucks.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and also like in the Quarry, they've said that they're gonna have like collectible cards that show like the fate of each character, so it'll ask you to do like multiple playthroughs.
Right. I think that's kind of what the game is probably trying to get people to do, right?
Yeah.
See if you can save everybody, or see if how many people you can save at the end, or have only one person. Yeah, kill everybody. Just have one person survive. That's super cool. I don't know that I've played a game like that before, but yeah.
Definitely Until Dawn, I would say it's worth a playthrough. It's a fun game. Like if you're with a bunch of friends and it's like an interactive movie.
Gotcha.
It's like what Bandersnatch tried to do, but like better. I would say they pulled it off way better.
Gotcha.
All right, moving on. We go on to the next Star Wars. What's going on there, Angel?
Yeah, so Star Wars, it sounds like they are trying to make another Star Wars movie, but we don't really know that much information about it. Damon Lindelof, co-creator of Lost and The Leftovers, and creator of the Watchmen TV series, which was a really good TV series, one of my favorite TV series that came out that year, is reportedly working on a new Star Wars movie. According to the Anklers, Jeff Snyder, the writer-producer, was approached to create the new entry in the Star Wars universe after publicly saying he'd like to work in that universe. However, even if Lindelof is developing the Star Wars movie, recent history makes it clear that this isn't confirmation that he'll release one. I think this guy, the previous trilogy, I think they're trying to say, because I remember there was supposed to be a movie series made from the people who created Game of Thrones. Is that the same guy? Oh no, that's David Benioff. Yeah. So they were supposed to make a new Star Wars thing, from what I remember, and that just never happened. Like I don't know if the way the Game of Thrones ended hurt them. I hope it did.
Oh yeah,
I hope it did. Yeah, I hope it did. Because it definitely seemed like they were trying to just finish Game of Thrones to hop onto the new project, because the way it ended was just not favorable.
I've never seen people lose their reputation in Hollywood so fast than those two guys.
Right. I think they were considered geniuses for a while because the show was so good.
Yeah.
And then the last two seasons to me were just sloppy writing. We're skipping time. Game of Thrones is so much about moments, and we skipped so many moments in the last two seasons, and it was like, what are we doing? It's a completely different show. So that died off. So we're hoping that this turns into something. I know that the Skywalker era of Star Wars is supposed to be done. They're not supposed to touch that anymore. So from what I heard, but they could be going back to it. So I'm excited to see what they do with this universe. I think it's a really cool universe. I'm excited to see what it is that they want to do.
Let me pitch you a Star Wars movie, Angel.
Hit me.
All right, have you seen Uncut Gems?
I have. Yes, I love that movie.
All right, take Uncut Gems, but in the starring role have Watto.
Okay, but we're in space now, and this is like a space guy with a gambling problem.
Yes,
I'm with it.
Watto.
I'm
and
with it.
Like, hey, Andy,
Yes, I'm with it. I think that's the move. He does give off Watto vibes, doesn't he, in the movie in Uncut Gems?
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
maybe that's the move. Is that you create something that has absolutely nothing to do with like action in the Star Wars universe, right? Maybe we create a Cheers-like comedy in the Star Wars universe at one of these bars.
I saw this pitch like a long time ago, and I actually think it's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Where it stars, it's about Greedo.
Okay.
And basically, the pitch is after he gets killed by Han Solo, like there's like a whole conspiracy that like his family is trying to uncover. Where Greedo is the one that's framed for shooting first, so there's no like charges pressed against Han Solo, but they're like trying to convince everyone like, no, Han shot first. And so it's like this big like, courtroom drama where they're trying to prove that Han actually shot first. And I was like,
that's hilarious, actually.
This is pretty good. Showing off
first. Who shot first? Yeah, yeah, maybe that's what we need. Is we need a not actiony movie in the Star Wars universe that is just expanding the universe. What's life like in the universe?
Honestly, what I would like to see, and this is not a meme answer, but I would like to see a Star Wars movie where the human character is not the main character, because there's so many different variety of
races. Yeah,
and I guess they're making an Ahsoka.
Yeah, they had her in Mandalorian. She's played by who's she played by again? I forget who it was.
Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, Rosario Dawson. Yep. So yeah, that'd be cool. She looked pretty cool in the movie or in the show.
So like I guess that would be the first one where it's the show that's not a human character being the main character. But I want to see one maybe where you have a droid main character or even a hut.
A hut. But I would like to see something explored in like the Old Republic, but like you know what I mean? Like hella Jedis, but not shitty like the prequels, Yeah, that'd be really cool. I mean, I think everybody. I'm always a big Jedi guy personally. I don't know. It's just cool to me fighting with freaking light swords. I mean, that's just pretty cool. But we'll see. We'll see what it is that they do. I'm probably gonna watch it regardless because I'm brainwashed by Star Wars.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. So we go from one massive IP to another. This one a little bit more controversial.
I love it. I love controversy.
Hogwarts Legacy had a state of play this Thursday where they showed off the new Harry Potter game, where it's developed by Avalanche Software, and this game essentially puts you back into the role of a fifth-year student at Hogwarts during the late 1800s. So you're not going to see any Harry Potter characters. So this is way before then. But essentially the game has you kind of going through school life at Hogwarts, where you go to class, make potions, tame beasts, make friends, you can ride a broomstick, and then you're trying to unlock this kind of mystery going on in Hogwarts. And there's also this old storyline about this old ancient magic that your character can do. It's very much it's not really, you don't play as an established character. You kind of create your own character and go through this, I believe it's an RPG type style where you can, learn new magic skills, upgrade your spells, learn new abilities. You can pick which kind of, I want to say, magic ability or skill tree you want to go through. Like, are you good with potions? Are you good with herbology? Are you good with charms? So it looks really good. The problem with this is that Harry Potter in the last couple of years has become a little bit of a controversial IP, in the sense that J.K. Rowling has come out and said some things that are, quite frankly, transphobic. So I don't know. What about you, Angel? How do you feel about like kind of this, like separating the art from the artist type. Pretty much that's the kind of the crux of the debate here.
Yeah, first of all, I think the game looks really fun, right? And I think that's key, right? Like, if the game looks fun, people are gonna play it. I think even regardless of the controversy, you know, e- people are gonna have really strong opinions about this, and understandably, I guess. But like, I don't know that she has that big of a hand in creating this video game at all, right? She's probably gonna make some money off of it because it's her IP. But like, I don't know. I think, like, similar to a story that we're gonna talk about here in a minute, like we're kind of, I don't know that we ever really put our money where our mouth is, right? Like, are we going to boycott this franchise because we're not happy with the way they do things? I don't think so. I don't think it's very likely. And I'm not saying I'm above that either, because I'm probably going to play it too, right? So I'm not like, we all fall into this stuff. So if I get the controversy, but like, at the end of the day, if it's a fun game, I think people are going to end up playing it anyways. I don't know how well their like Fantastic Beasts franchise is doing right now, but it sounds like it's doing pretty well, even through the controversy. And I think that one has like a few controversies attached to it, but yeah, I mean, it's crazy. We'll see if there's any backlash after this, but I kind of doubt it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think for one thing is kind of that whole separating from the art from the artist thing is very subjective in the fact that you look at some, like, I think people still watch Roman Polanski movies, even though that guy's a fucking scumbag.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, there's something about that too.
But at the same time, I feel like most people stopped listening to R. Kelly.
Yeah, yeah. I think also, like, there's just not as big of an audience for R. Kelly, I think, as people think. I think it's very much an old school thing, but yeah.
But like I said, like, it's like, these things, and I've seen a couple of people float the idea of, like, the thing about, you have the developers that make the game, that they're not J.K. Rowling, and if you boycott it, that kind of messing with them. But at the same time, some people are like, well, I'm going to boycott it. I can't support J.K. Rowling, which is understandable. My kind of viewpoint is, like, you do what you need to do, that makes you feel good. Like, if you feel like you can't support this in any sense because of J.K. Rowling, then, more power to you.
Yeah.
I've seen other people float the idea of, if you do buy this game and you're giving J.K. Rowling some money, that people would take kind of like that money that she would have made from it, double it to like a charity for like trans people. So,
Yeah, I wonder, like, what kind of cut she gets on these, like what percentage of the game sales she gets, or it might even just be a flat rate. They might have just paid her to have the rights to make the game under that IP. I don't know. I don't really know how that stuff works, to be honest with you. But yeah, like, you can't really, I can't tell people what should or should not offend them, right? But like, in that same vein, like, just because a person decides to play these games because it looks like a good game, and you're actually supporting, exactly like you said, like a video game developing company, right? And the people who worked hard on this game, like, do they not deserve money? Do they not deserve to get their to get some recognition for making a cool game, right? So yeah, it's a complex thing. We teeter back and forth on these types of topics, and they're delicate, and it does make for interesting conversation.
Yeah, for sure. All right, moving on to our last topic of the day. What's going on with Amazon and MGM, Angel?
Yeah, so Amazon purchased MGM. The e-commerce supergiant surprised Hollywood on Thursday by announcing the completion of its $8.5 billion acquisition of MGM. $8.5 billion, that's insane. An iconic Hollywood brand whose presence in the modern entertainment industry has diminished over time, having different owners in it since the 1980s. The FTC actually tried to block, or at least tried to object to the purchase of MGM, but it ended up going through anyways. I guess the idea was that they might be kind of trying to monopolize the entertainment industry. Now, some of the IPs that they adopted after the purchase of MGM include Rocky, the Rocky franchise, the Legally Blonde franchise, Stargate franchise, Pink Panther, as well as James Bond. I believe that's not on the list we have here, but I think we said that it was James Bond has also been part of MGM. So these are some are pretty huge IPs. They're not the biggest. I think James Bond and Rocky are probably the big ones right now. Some of these other ones are getting some spin-offs, but I don't know if Legally Blonde spin-off is going to do amazing. Maybe it will. Those are fun movies, but yeah, I think that this is kind of a step towards Amazon's goal to conquer the world. So we'll see if they're successful in our lifetime. It might happen. Luckily, the entertainment industry and streaming services, luckily, there's a lot of competition right now. I don't even know if we would consider Amazon a top 3 streaming service right now. I don't think it is. I don't know that they have the IPs for that, but they're trying. They're really much trying to be a big name in this whole. I feel like they already control the whole shipping industry, right? Like,
yeah, pretty much.
I mean, like, and look, this is similar to like the topic that we talked about before, right? Is that like, do we put our money where our mouth is? Like, I don't like the way Amazon conducts their business, but I'm still a Prime member. You know what I mean? Like, exactly. I'm not above it. I'm not trying to talk down to people. I'm just saying, like, that's what it is. Like, I have my Amazon Prime membership. I love 2-day shipping. You know what I mean? I watch some of their stuff on their streaming service. So this mega giant, as controversial as the company is, man, that's what they are. They're a giant. Hard to take down giants.
Do you still use Amazon Prime Student?
No. I did for a while after I was a student, but I mean, it's been like 5 years since I've graduated. Almost 5 years now.
I just got kicked out of my Sac State email account.
Oh yeah, I haven't used that in years. I told myself I needed to stop using that because I knew they were going to kick us out. But that's funny.
Just like last week, I just got kicked out of my Sac State account, and I was like, "Damn it!" Like there goes all the. I lost my wallet a few months ago.
Oh yeah,
last year, and I lost my Sac State like student ID, and I was very sad because I still use that for discounts and stuff.
Oh yeah, I think I still have my ID somewhere too. Yeah, I gotta use that for some discounts. But yeah, back to the Amazon thing, man. It's pretty crazy. How much money this company has. I mean, they went from like being like online Barnes and Noble, right? Like selling books to this mega giant. Like it's incredible. Like as crazy and as controversial as the company is, like there is something weirdly admirable about it to see it grow that big. But at the end of the day, they do have some weird business practices that I don't exactly agree with.
Like Jeff Bezos got like his like back in like I want to say the 90s or early 2000s. Like I think he got like $100,000 like loan, and it's like like I could probably make something out of $100,000. Like if I really like, I think most people could. Like if you have that kind of like leg up. Like I know it's not like a crazy amount. It's a crazy amount of money, but not in a business sense. But using that, you could probably create something.
Yeah, I think a lot of people with I don't think $100,000 loans are that tough to get if you're starting a business. I get fucking calls. Yeah, I get calls all the time. They get you know what I mean? They're like, "Oh, come get a business loan here," and they offer me like hundreds of thousands of dollars, which is just like I'm never gonna pay that back. I'm never gonna make that much money. So it is pretty impressive in some sense, right? That he turned that into this $1 billion company. But I don't even think that he's like is he the CEO anymore? I don't think he is, right? He's just like a head of the.
I think he stepped down.
Yeah, I think he stepped down. So I think he's just like the majority shareholder now or something like that.
Yeah.
But still, the company it's crazy, dude. They're trying to take over the world. They're like the company that they warned us in movies about in all these movies. They're like the Umbrella Corporation. They're fucking.
you know where this ends, right?
Zombies? Is that what you're guessing? Oh,
no, this ends with Jeff Bezos playing James Bond.
He would be a terrible James. He's not even British, bro. Exactly. Like, what are we doing? Can he do a British accent? I doubt it.
But he has enough money to be like, I do what the hell I want.
Yeah, that's very, very true, man. But he's not the CEO anymore. He technically doesn't even have the pool anymore, I guess. I don't know.
It's all a front. It's like Putin with Russia. You know how
Yeah.
he stepped down from being prime minister and then became president and then
Yeah.
became prime minister after. It's all a front.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. But we'll see. Like the MGM I mean, MGM is like a classic name for sure. Like especially like I went to film school, so like there was like a whole era where MGM was like the king of movies. That hasn't been the case in like 40 years, but so it is like a huge purchase to see like this iconic company by an e-commerce giant. But yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. Hopefully this means they come out with some good content, right? Like I'm always a fan of that.
Yeah.
Again, like yeah, we not a big fan of their business practices, but if they make good shows, I'm probably gonna watch them. You know what I mean? Like so hopefully this means or good movies. And also like is this like a thing where now we're starting to see movie theaters kind of slowly go away, right? Like you would assume that MGM or now Amazon would all these IPs that they're coming out with would potentially release them strictly on their streaming service. Maybe they've made movies in the past that have hit theaters though. Like was it one of the movies that makes me cry a lot? Manchester by the Sea. That was an Amazon production, and that had a theatrical release. That was also like 6 years ago though. So
yeah,
who knows?
They also did Being the Ricardos last year, and that was Amazon Prime and theaters.
Yeah, I'm hoping theaters don't die because I'm a huge fan of going to movie theaters. It's just like I just have too many memories as a kid of like being super excited to go watch a movie in the theaters that I would hope that just continues forever. But there is a conversation about whether or not there's room for it anymore.
Well, you're also one of them film nerds, so whatever.
I am a huge film nerd. Yes, I'll watch movies in film projecting if I could. Tower Theater, like over here in SAC, in theaters like that, are 100% for nerds like us because the seats are fucking uncomfortable, but they project stuff in film. So we're like, yeah, let's watch it like back in the old days.
Okay. All right. So that is it for our topics. Now we move on to our next section. Mikey, if you could give us the intro.
But first, nice Samantha just said in chat, I think movie streaming is great for families because imagine being a parent with children and having to pay multiple tickets for your kids.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
The answer to that is don't have kids.
Mr. I teach the future of the world over here. Don't have kids.
No.
I think like I agree. Like it is getting really expensive to go to the movies, and
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that that's going to change until some like real economic change happens, right? But I just remember as a kid going to the movies was way more exciting than bringing the movie back home to watch it. Now also the TVs back then were a lot shittier than they are now, right? So there's you couldn't really get a home theater experience at home back then. Now it's a lot easier. So things have definitely changed, but I don't know. I'd like to think that if I had kids, I would love to take them to the theater and have them watch, movies. That would be awesome.
And she also added maybe theaters will still live on for adults because the experience is so awesome. Yeah, I'm thinking like most of them will follow like the Alamo Draft House kind of model where they like serve you food and drinks.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah, maybe it will be just an adult thing for a little bit because there is something like we have. Like, I don't know, people who I know that have kids, they just kind of like throw them an iPad and let them like do their thing for hours or whatever. And like, that just seems like that's what entertains kids nowadays. Like, I don't know that they have the temperament to sit down at a theater. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, since we're on the topic of movies and Amazon and Jeff Bezos being like a real life villain, let's talk about our top 5 movie villains. So let's go start with, wait, who are you starting with?
Mm-hmm. You want to go start, Angel, or you want me to start?
Okay, so are we going from 5 up to 1? Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you want me to give like an explanation as to why each one is my favorite?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Throw that
Okay. So at 5, I have Thanos. Thanos at number 5. For the Avengers. I think I like him because like I guess like if you really think about it, like his reasoning for wanting to kill off half of the world makes a lot of sense, right? It's just not the best method to go about it. It's just wiping out half the planet. But it's this whole thing that we're like resource cheap, right? I think that's a very relatable thing, right? People say that we're running out of resources on our own planet, and now take that to like a universal way. So like the motivation behind the things that he does, I think are in a way that doesn't make him like a cookie cutter villain. And his methods are bad, and he's also like super cool looking, and yeah, I think that's why he's like one of my favorite villains.
Personally, I think Thanos was right.
You think Thanos is right? You think we need to wipe out half the world?
Yes.
What if you're half of that world?
That's fine with me. I ain't got. I mean, I ain't got no issues.
It's fine with me too.
Fuck you, Angel.
Yeah, Thanos was right. Are we gonna do like a back and forth? Yeah. So you're gonna reduce your fifth. All right.
So my number 5 is Mayor Kobayashi from Isle of Dogs. Have you seen this movie?
I have seen Isle of Dogs. It's Wes Anderson. I love that movie.
Yes. All right. So basically, this man wanted to kill all dogs. What is more evil than that?
Yeah.
Like, what a fucking bitch, dude.
Yeah, it was something about like I forget the backstory, but it was something like he didn't like dogs because they like one of them bit him or some shit like that as a kid or something like that, and he grew up with this hatred towards dogs.
Like they made up this whole thing that dogs are actually like infected with disease that will like wipe out all humans. And
yeah, that's hella funny.
That's such a good. I love Wes Anderson. Like the stop like motion claymation movies he makes. Like this and Fantastic Mr. Fox. Some of my favorite movies.
Yeah, all his movies are like the same. If you like watch his plot, it's weird. Like all his, like it's all about like we got to figure out how to stop this, and then like they pull out a map, and then they make a list, and then you know what I mean? It's like, but like I still love his movies, even though they're all the same. I fucking love them. They're just so aesthetically pleasing.
It's true. I never realized that. They pull out a map.
There's all these steps that they go through to fucking to save the day or whatever it is they're doing. That's a good movie. Yeah, he is fucking evil, wanting to just kill all dogs. Fuck that guy.
All right, let's hear your number 4.
All right, my number 4 is the Joker from The Dark Knight. I think this was just like one of those fucking villains when I was younger, or that came out probably when I was like in early high school or something like that. But anyway, it was just a great performance. His maniacal laugh haunts people forever, and his, being able to be like this evil villain in a way that's still kind of relatable and also be fucking hilarious, because he was kind of hilarious in the movie, is the reason why he sits on top of my list. This is the last superhero related villain I think I have. Just FYI, they're not all superheroes or superhero related.
I think the moment that sold the Dark Knight Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker to me was the magic trick scene.
Oh, with the pencil?
Yeah.
The pencil, and it disappears. Yeah, hilarious. He's like weirdly fucking hilarious. He was maniacal. He was scary in some ways. Like it was just it was awesome. And I mean, I don't know any other superhero villains that won Oscars, but he has one in his bag, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, for sure. I actually have my next 2 are actually superhero related villains. My number 4 is Killmonger from Black Panther. And well, the reason why is very similar to my reasoning for Thanos is Killmonger was right. Mm-hmm. I think Killmonger was right, and I feel like Thanos, I said that as a joke, but Killmonger, you could honestly see the reasoning. Like, there are people being oppressed, and maybe it's time we wipe out these assholes. Like, I'm not mad at Killmonger. I'm really not. Like,
yeah, there's actually like kind of like a similar thing that happens in like the Batman with Catwoman. You know what I mean? Where like she kind of has like a similar type of mentality, I guess, as Killmonger does. Killmonger almost made my list. I like Killmonger a lot because I mean, like, really, he's just kind of like, what have y'all fucking done to help motherfuckers like me? You know what I mean? Like that's his whole like, and like like I'm part of y'all, and y'all haven't even like put me in the mix. Like fuck y'all.
And it's
Like,
not
yeah.
even like just him. He's like talking about like my people. Like we're out here like dealing
Yes,
with
yes,
this
yes,
and the
yes.
other. Like we're living in a country that oppresses us, racist, police brutality, and we have the means to fight back.
Yeah, and you guys
Yeah.
just sit here in your fucking castle with your Porsche field and don't do
Exactly.
shit. Yeah. And then he like, if we're being a hundo,
Uh-huh.
he does beat Black Panther. Like he does beat Chadwick Boseman. Like in the
Yeah.
movie, like he should be the king. He's the rightful king. Anywho,
Fair enough.
yeah.
All right. Now let's see your number 3.
Okay, my number 3 is a little out there, but it's Calvin Candy from Django Unchained.
That's
He's
Leo, right?
is Leo DiCaprio. Yeah, he's the slave owner dude who makes the big black dudes fight each other. He does the Mandingo fights.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that like first of all, I think his performance was amazing, right? Like he was incredibly. You hated him watching that movie, and like I don't know that you've ever hated Leo in movies before. How does Leonardo DiCaprio make himself somebody that you hate? By being a fucking racist slave owner. That's how you do it. And he was just so like it's like super satisfying when he dies in that movie. And his whole like demeanor in the movie really is like he just kind of talks down to everybody. He just kind of thinks he's better than everybody. He wants to be called Monsieur Candy, but he doesn't know how to speak French. So he's like a total douchebag, right?
Yeah.
He makes himself like an old age douchebag, rich douchebag from back in the day in like the antebellum South. And that's so much that he's relatable at all, right? Like I don't know that he's that type.
Oh. Mikey, what's going on?
I don't know. That was weird. Hold on. I am.
Technical difficulties. This is what happens when you go live.
Oh, now you guys are, are in the wrong. Hold on.
Are we back?
No, we're still. Actually, you know what? Hold on.
Oh, is it?
Let's just do. We're not on your 3 yet, yeah, right? Okay. Alright, going back in 3, 2. Oh, wait. Oh, my mic is live too. We're live. We're back.
We're back. All right. Cool.
Geo is my angel. Is that like a play on words?
I guess.
Oh, funny.
Let's kill that year.
Where was I? We're talking about Calvin Candy. Yeah,
He's relatable.
Yeah, he's not like this one where you think he's right, he's totally wrong for sure. Like, but I think the way he plays his arrogant character and that gets what he deserves. But he's also like a character that you kind of thought might win in the end, right? Like, there's something maniacal about him where you're like, this guy might fuck around and get his way. You know what I mean? Like especially like the scene where he figures them out or whatever, and he cuts his hand and rubs it all over what's her face's face. Like that whole scene was an incredible scene, and you were like, okay, like maybe he's not just an arrogant idiot. Like maybe he's actually smart enough to figure out what's going on here, and all that combined is what makes him a really good villain to me, and a great movie if you haven't watched it.
Yes, sir. That is a great movie. All right, my number 3. Now this might be a little bit of recency bias, but it is the Riddler in Batman. And the reason is because just kind of the way that he is this, and I don't want to say anything to spoil it, but he is this kind of, he's not a in-your-face villain like the Joker is. He plays more of the background where he leaves clues and hints, and is more of a cerebral type villain, but also does these crazy, violent, disturbing things to his victims. And in a sense, I think for me that's a little bit more terrifying than the Joker, where you just don't know where this guy's coming from. And like, I don't want to say anything to spoil the movie, but his motivations and kind of his reasoning, like, also is kind of like, I could see where you're coming from, because I could see why you would do the things you do. But I don't want to say too much because I'll spoil it. But I very much enjoyed the Riddler in the Batman, and I want to say that he's probably my favorite on-screen Batman villain.
Yeah, I guess this one is a little sensitive because the movie hasn't been out very long. But there is something similar to him in like Killmonger, right? Where his reasoning almost kind of feels justified. Maybe not as much as Killmonger's, but and same with like Catwoman. Catwoman's not like a villain in the movie or anything like that, but she has like similar like kind of mentality. But it was a really good movie. I think that guy is very creepy looking, the guy who plays the Riddler.
Yeah.
And if you ever watched Prisoners, he's kind of like the same vibes in that movie that he has in this one. And I almost feel like he looks so creepy that his personal life must be like ruined. Like, there's no way this guy has a great personal life. Looking this freaking creepy, bro, because he just does it so well. He just I can't be in a room with him and not think that he's gonna murder me. You know what I mean? Like,
I think there's also like that kind of like his voice, like when he's doing like the phone calls, where it's a little distorted because it's like over a phone or over like an internet video, but he's like, he's like and the murderers, and it's like he's yelling, but it's really like jarring and like, oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, there's without trying to give too much, there is like a scene in which he's like talking kind of like over the phone or whatever, and they said that he did 200 takes of that scene.
Really?
Yeah, because he wanted to try it different ways, and it wasn't the director's decision, it was his decision. He was like, what if I did it doing this? And he would like pop into frame doing weird things, different things. And so he did take over 200 takes of that to try to get something that he liked.
Damn. Okay, that's commitment right there.
Yeah, 200 takes. It's crazy.
All right, you're number 2.
My number 2 is Hannibal Lecter, Silence of the Lambs. So we're going throwback on this one. We're going really evil on this one. If you guys don't know, Hannibal Lecter eats humans. That's what he does. But he's also incredibly smart. He's like a doctor in the movie Silence of the Lambs. He basically helps the main character Clarice hunt down the murderer or the serial killer that she's looking for. He's already imprisoned or whatever. And in doing so, he finds a way to get himself out of prison. And I think what I like about him is, again, like the maniacalness of it. Like, there's a theme. I really like people who fucking scare me. And when I was a kid and I watched Silence of the Lambs for the first time, I was terrified of this guy. Yeah, absolutely fucking terrified of this guy. And then they made like a Hannibal Lecter movie, and I remember my siblings, because they're evil, made me watch it, and even more terrified. I had nightmares of this guy eating me in my sleep, and not in a good way. Anywho, so yeah, pretty terrifying person. He's incredibly smart. There's something about villains who are very intelligent that kind of draw me towards them, and I think that's what makes him a super good villain.
Have you read? Speaking of like the Silence of the Lambs, and also we just talked about the Batman. Have you read The Long Halloween, the Batman graphic novel?
No, but that's what they say that's what this movie was kind of based off of.
Yeah, because there's that, and also the Silence of the Lambs and the Batman. I want to say, both linked to The Long Halloween, because the kind of the main plot of The Long Halloween is there's this guy named the Holiday Killer, which kills people on different holidays, and there's this old school Batman villain called Calendar Man, who would perform crimes based on like the days of the week and certain holidays, and he was kind of like a joke, like campy, like Batman villain. But in The Long Halloween, they basically remade excuse me, they remake him in this kind of like Hannibal Lecter type villain where Batman goes to see him in Arkham Asylum and he's asking him questions because they have very similar motifs. And
Mm.
Calendar Man is kind of like, I want to say, advising Batman on how to catch the holiday killer. So it's very, very good read. I think you should check it out when you get a chance.
That is very much like, oh, that's really interesting. Yeah, I know that in the Arkham games they put Calendar Man in there, and he was kind of a similar character. Now that I think about it, he was trapped, and he was one of the villains in the game that wasn't actually roaming around. He was still stuck in a cell,
Yeah.
and you go up to him. It's like an achievement to go up to him on holidays, and he gives you like I think you have to go up to him on like Halloween, Christmas, Valentine's Day, and he has different dialogue. Excuse me, I just hit my mic. He has different dialogue every time you go up to him on one of those holidays. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's interesting. I actually want to get that a read. Yeah, it feels a lot like Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah. All right. My number 2 would be Steve Lift from Sorry to Bother You. Have you seen Sorry to Bother You?
I haven't, but I know the movie. It's the one where they put on their white voices to talk. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yo, this might be one of my favorite movies of all time.
Really?
Yeah, it hits a lot of my boxes. And Armie Hammer plays Steve Lift, who is basically. Do you know all the drama with Armie Hammer?
Is this like a thing where he may have hit his wife or something like that?
It's one of those things where he was on a date and he basically told her that he wants to like eat her, like he's an actual like cannibal fetishist.
Oh, wait, but that was like a play thing, right? Or I don't fucking know.
No,
I feel like he really wanted to eat her.
there's multiple women that have like came out and said that he wanted to basically like eat them, like he has like this weird like cannibal fetish.
Yo, he's real life Hannibal Lecter. Is what you're telling-
Yo, why is ever the last like 3 movies we've had like related to Silence of the Lambs?
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
Because this is an all-time classic. It's an
It
all-time
is.
classic movie.
It is very, very much. That's why people still talk about this movie to this day.
Yeah, very true. That's crazy. Okay, go ahead.
But Steve Lift also kind of represents this kind of like new wave of like capitalism to where he's like the CEO of this like Amazon style company where they're basically saying like they're hiring people, they're like signing contracts where they don't get paid, but they get to live in like this Amazon corporation like warehouse and they work for them. It's basically indentured servitude, slavery. And not only that, but like Steve Lift is this guy who is this kind of like, how do I say this? Like he's like this CEO, like Jeff Bezos type. That's like this isn't work. This is a play environment, a work environment. It's just he's like talking about how like in certain corporations, like especially in like tech industries, like you look at their headquarters and there's like a ping pong table and sleeping bags and like cool furniture, but like people are like basically working there 7 days a week, like more than 8 hours a day. And it's like, no, this is a fun space. It's not like a job. It's like not like a job where you have to crunch to work like all the time and don't get to see your family. Like it's one of those things. Like it's very much. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say if you've ever been to like any of the campuses in Silicon Valley for these big companies, that's exactly what it is. Facebook. I've been to the Facebook campus. Yeah, they have everything there. To be fair, though, I don't know that I do think that they don't like. I think they pay everybody hourly, so people get to leave and stuff. But it is this whole thing where I think it's like you think less about the fact that you're working if we provide you with all these amenities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I highly recommend that movie. I would like to see what you think.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it. I actually remember wanting to watch it when it came out. It came out probably like 4 years ago or something like that. Something like that. Yeah, it's the dude that played Snoop Dogg, right? What's his name? Oh my gosh,
Lakeith Stanfield.
Lakeith Stanfield. Yeah, he's really good. I like him.
He's a phenomenal actor. I would say. I remember I got into an argument, not an argument, but a discussion with one of our old film club members about the movie, and they were like, "It's too weird," and I'm like, "You're simpleton."
It's too weird.
Yeah. You're just an
Oh,
idiot.
so we were probably still in college when that came out, huh?
Yeah. You
Yeah.
know how like I think me and you talk about this like when it comes to like film people, like there's like I think there's like kind of two camps
Mhm.
where besides like normal casual people, but there's like the people that like I like Star Wars and Marvel and stuff like that, and then there's like the actual like film nerds.
Yeah.
Like two different types of nerds is what I'm saying.
Yeah, there definitely is. Yeah. I try to fall in between them, but I don't know. I don't know where I fall.
Anyways, let's go to your number one.
My number one is from my favorite movie of all time. If anybody knows me, they know what my favorite movie of all time is, and that is Inglourious Bastards. I talk about that movie so much. So number one is Hans Landa from Inglourious Bastards. It played by Christoph Waltz. He is, if you haven't watched the movie Inglourious Bastards, it's basically about like a group of Jewish soldiers from America who go on a mission to try to kill Hitler. But one of the subplots of the movie is this Nazi detective, Hans Landa, who basically is hunting down Jewish people in French occupied, or excuse me, Nazi occupied France. And so what he's trying to do essentially is find all the Jewish people who aren't like caught and imprison them essentially. And he's like the main antagonist of the movie, even though you would think it's Hitler. But Hitler is kind of a little bitch in this movie. He doesn't really do much. Hans Landa, to me, just watching, if you don't want to watch the whole movie, watch the opening scene of that movie. It's probably like 15 to 20 minutes long, maybe less, probably like 15 minutes long. You're on the edge of your seat about the shit breaks because he's just so scary in this role. Like you're just like he's gonna figure out that what you're hiding, and it's incredibly scary. It's almost like this movie is more like a heist movie if you really think about it, and it's like the Jewish soldiers heist is killing Hitler, and Hans Landa is a detective trying to stop them from doing that. That's kind of how I see the movie, and I don't see him so much as an evil Nazi as more as like he's a guy though doing a really shitty job, just doing his job as a detective to find what his boss is telling him to find, and he's really good at it. Because you kind of see that he's not really a bad person at the end of it. I mean, he is a bad person. I don't want to say that he's not a bad person, but his motivations are different towards the end of the movie. I recommend people watch it. He won an Oscar for his performance. It was amazing. I love it. Bada boom, bada bing.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, I also agree. I do think Hans Landa is a great villain. But to me, not as scary as my number one, Amy Dunn from Gone Girl. Yo, Gone Girl is the movie that had me more shook than any other movie I've ever like seen in my life. Like that movie shook me to my damn core because when you think about human beings and like our interpersonal relationships, especially when it comes to someone that you are like in a relationship with, like you could be with this person like all the time, talk about all of these things, and you never really know because of the personas and masks that we wear in when it comes to, men, women, someone who is non-binary, whatever, gender, whatever relationship you are with people, and the masks and personas that we all put on. And just the fact that this woman like was so vindictive that she came up with this crazy ass plot to get her husband like framed for murdered and then killed. It's just, oh my god. Oh, so creepy. Like, no. That's why I follow the Hoodville IG page.
Dude, it's fucking hilarious because I've watched that movie too, Gone Girl. She's really good in the movie.
Yeah.
It very much made me question if I ever wanted to get married in life because he seemed Ben Affleck's character seemed like to be fair, like he did like cheat on her, right?
Yeah.
But like you get an idea of who you're marrying, right? And I from watching the movie, you get this idea that he had no idea that she was capable of some shit like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She does some shit like that. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Getting cheated on doesn't mean you frame a dude for murder and get him killed. That's insane.
Also
That's
kill
overcorrection.
and also kill NPH.
Yeah. Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh my
Dude.
god.
He fucking.
He was the worst part of that movie, just FYI.
I think I think everyone agrees on that one.
He's not a good actor. Anywho.
But she also like, in order to make it seem like she was sexually abused, she shoved a whole bottle up there, and so it looked like it to the police.
The
And
dedication.
God damn,
Jesus Christ. I gotta make it look like I was raped, so I'm gonna stuff a wine bottle. Oh my gosh.
Jesus
It's so
Christ.
scary. I also think like there's something weird about this, like all right, play a little bit of devil's advocate about like the movie. I don't want to derail the conversation completely. But like there is also something dangerous about that movie, right? Because it's like not only is it giving people the book to how to like do something like this if you need to do it, right? It's also like makes it so that like it's kind of harder for women who have actually been abused to be taken seriously. I feel like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, I can see that.
Not that I think that means that the movie shouldn't be watched. I think the movie is great. You should still watch the movie. But just, I don't know, devil's advocate a little bit. Like, I think like it does kind of make it seem like it's easier to write somebody off to be like, it's just some crazy lady. You know what I mean?
Also, I want to say also Tyler Perry's best performance.
Oh yeah, 100%. Tyler Perry came out of nowhere with a great performance in that movie.
What the hell?
Yeah, I was like, oh, he's about to screw this up. Like I see him, I was like, oh god damn it, Tyler Perry. He's gonna do like some weird fucking character or whatever, and he was just not. He was a stone cold lawyer. He was cool. I loved it.
Yo, I saw this joke that was like the Medea wig talks to Tyler Perry like the Green Goblin mask talks to Willem Dafoe. I started cracking up.
Tyler, we are Medea.
But yeah, that was our top 5. Let us know what y'all think of our lists. Let us know whose lists you agree with more. Probably Angels, because y'all just like to disagree with me for no reason.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Just because I just know better.
shut the fuck up. Hey, don't forget, just because you were film president doesn't mean you know more. Because I was also film president.
But see, I don't even think the club exists anymore.
No, but that was because of the guy after me.
I think that it started dwindling as soon as you took over, bro. That's my guess.
Okay, so maybe it's because I yelled at all our members to stop being fucking idiots.
Yeah, that's probably what it is, dude. That's what. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. People don't like being yelled at.
It's not my fault because they were all like, "Let's all go watch movies together," and then they picked movies and they would never show up. So,
yeah, dude, that freaking whole thing was like a delicate balance of stuff that I didn't like, but it is what it is. It was like felt like it was my baby for a minute, and then it died, and now I'm just like whatever.
exactly, that's what college is.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our 1v1 debate. Mikey, please introduce us to the topic.
It is actually the 1v1 showdown. And the question for today, since we're talking about movies, and we also talk about video games, begs the question: can you make a great video game movie? What do you guys think?
What do you think, Angel?
I think you can make a great movie about almost everything. Yeah, so yeah, I think you can make a great video game movie. I feel like video game movies have just been trying too hard. Honestly, I think that's what it is. They've been trying to tell stories that aren't necessarily told in the game. You know what I mean? And I feel like what comes to mind, like the Assassin's Creed one, I think that went like a whole different direction than what the movie or the game went, right? Stuff like that. Like just stick to the material. Like why are we scared of sticking to the material? I don't know. And you just got to treat it not like a blockbuster, but like a movie. You know what I mean? Like I think you can do it.
I think for me, when we look at the medium of video games and movies, I think they're just way too different to where some things just won't translate, in the sense that a video game has these like UI things. It has logic that doesn't make sense in anything other than a video game. So can you make a passable video game movie? Yeah, there have been a couple out there that I would say were passable good movies. But to make a great video game movie, I think the mediums are just too different in the sense that I don't think you can. I don't think it's possible. Even something like, let's take something that's super story driven, like something like The Last of Us or God of War. Like these are great stories that people always talk about, but at the same time, they're also what uh 30 to 40 hour experiences. How can you constrain that to 2.5, 3 hours? And also like not being in control for these like awesome fights or tense moments. I think that is something that is lost when you translate it to a film. So for me, I don't think that you can make a great video game movie.
Yeah, I disagree. So here's my thing. Uh, when you're gonna make a movie out of a video game, you got to pick the key moments, right? And the problem, I think, one of the biggest problems that haunts these video game movies, and that being said, like they are all kind of trash. Like I don't want to defend these video game movies, but everybody has an expectation of what's going to be put in the movie and what's not, right? And when it doesn't meet a person's personal expectation, then they think the movie is trash, right? And it's kind of a weird thing to say, right? Because I don't know that necessarily people have to change the way they think about movies, but there is this whole thing where you're just never gonna please everybody, right? Some people, you make a game of The Last of Us, you're gonna have to cut some things out from the movie that were in the game, and some people might be upset at the things that you cut out, right? So it's really about just being able to pick the things that make the story complete. And being able to go from there and really just because I think about some of the video game movies that I've hated, and I don't know that any of them are because like I don't know that any of them followed a structure that was the right structure to follow. You get what I'm saying? Like they just go off of on weird tangents, or they have like really shitty performances, or they just like, or it's like, the CGI or whatever is just like terrible on some of these movies. Like it's just I think there's a lot of elements, and I don't know that they take it as seriously as they should. But video games are growing at an exponential rate, and next thing you know, this is going to be the medium that people are going to follow. And I think that when you make movies of these now new video games or whatever, that they're going to take them a lot more seriously now.
I think also, I mean, if you look at, I mean, let's look at different mediums, right? Why is it so easy to adapt a book? Well, okay, I don't want to say easy. Why is it more successful when a book is adapted into a movie as opposed to a video game? Because when you see visually, when you're reading a book, yes, you can imagine everything, but it's not anywhere that everyone can see. So it's easy for someone with a strong enough vision to be able to pull out of that book, because not a lot of people, they see what it is. When it comes to a video game, it is a visual medium. So you already have a representation that is already everyone's representation of how something should sound and look. And then when you adapt it to a movie, it could also get lost. I mean, think of the Uncharted movie. Like Nathan Drake is Nolan North's voice with like that character model. It's not Tom Holland.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen the movie?
No, I haven't. Have you?
Okay. No, I haven't. I think I've heard like mixed things about it, but I think overall people don't like it.
But I think the sense is that you already like have an image of what Nathan Drake should look like, and when it's not Tom Holland, I think it just, the fact that the video games are already a visual medium make it that much more impossible to make a great video game movie, because sometimes when you adapt something and it's different from what everyone knows, it's so jarring.
Yeah, but I mean, you can make the same argument with comic books, right? People know what these comic book characters look like, and then we're still able to adapt them in a way that people can relate to them. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people were a little suspicious of Batman when it was what's his face cast as it. I think we're all like, he don't look like Batman. He's not going to be a good emo Batman, and then he ended up being a pretty good Batman.
True, but at the same time, comic book characters have a uniform and a suit, which is very easily made, in a movie. Like, even though you might not think Robert Pattinson is a good Batman or looks like a Batman, when he's in the suit, you'll be like, all right, like he's in the suit.
Yeah, but does he look like Bruce Wayne? I think that was a big argument too, though, when he's not in the suit.
That is true, but I would argue that it's more important to get the suit part than the civilian counterpart.
Potentially, I think depending on which route you're going down, right? And I mean, I also think of like these Marvel superheroes. I think they spend more time not in masks than they do in masks, right?
Okay, fair.
Yeah. So, like I don't know that. Look, I think I think it really takes the studio to just take it seriously. I mean, we're starting to see some stuff coming out now that hopefully is going to be good. I mean, Halo is releasing like a series, which is a lot easier to translate, I guess, than a movie into a series. Though I'm not sure if we're sticking to our argument strictly on a 2-hour movie or if we can expand series. But I don't know that it looks good, but I'm hoping that there's some money put behind it and it's gonna be pretty good. I hear that there's a Last of Us thing coming out from HBO, I believe. I think they're trying to do a God of War thing. They're in pre-production for that. So I think once studios start taking it seriously, we'll see some good stuff. I think there's always going to be people that are upset about it because it's going to be something about I don't think, again, like you said, I don't think Tom Holland looks like Nathan Drake or whatever the heck, right? Or I don't think this person looks like this person, or I'm really upset that they took this thing out of the storyline, and that was my favorite part of the game, or whatever, right? So there's always going to be people that are upset about it, but I do think that's possible to make a good video game out of a movie, or excuse me, good movie out of a video game.
Let me ask you this, right? Because superhero movies, we bring up that topic, right? And how you've seen that superhero movies have come a very long way, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So would you say that there are any superhero movies that could be kind of like seen as more than just a popcorn flick and actual like cinema?
Yeah, I mean, I think I start with the Batman movies. I think Nolan movies, the Nolan Batman series and this new Batman series are looked more like cinema than they are popcorn flicks. I think they're gonna do popcorn flicks numbers because they're Batman. I'm trying to think of like other things other movies that I've seen that are kind of like that. Those seem to be the only ones that kind of come to mind off rip. But yeah,
Hey, I would say Logan is also up there.
Yes, Logan. Yeah, I love that movie. Underrated movie. Yeah, Logan.
Yeah, but like think about like how long it took for superhero movies to come that far along, and video game movies have been, I want to say, maybe around kind of the same time period. Because if we're being honest, like, okay, I guess we can start with the Donner Superman movie was kind of the first like real big like superhero like, oh, this can be done movie. And then I want to say they kind of died off until Burton's Batman in the 80s. And superhero movies have been kind of going on that kind of around that same time period where it was in the 80s where you get kind of like the old you got the Mario Brothers movie, Street Fighter, and it's been that long and they're still not even reaching that same pinnacle that superhero movies have done, because video game movies are such a different medium to where the player is in control, and there's so many things logically that don't make sense in a video game that would or things that make sense in a video game that wouldn't make sense in a movie.
Yeah, I think like we go back to those like early movies, and we can even go over to like the newer movies. Like I don't know that the reason that the Mario Brothers movie was bad was because of that, right? Like I think like it was a bad movie because it was made badly. You know what I mean? And the same thing with a lot of these. But I mean, you said it yourself, right? You really like the Sonic movie, right? So is that not a good video game movie?
I think it's a good video game movie, but I don't think it's a great video game movie in the sense that you think that we'll ever get. Okay, we talked about The Dark Knight. Let's talk about The Dark Knight, right? How it was a movie that a lot of people thought that, this is like cinema. Like, this could win Academy Awards. I don't think we'll ever reach that point with video game movies.
Yeah, I think it's possible. I think it really depends on the story that you follow. I think games like The Last of Us is something that like potentially could fall in that realm. Red Dead Redemption, imagine them doing like a Western based off of these characters or whatever. I think these are games that potentially can that have stories that can be told in a cinematic way, or in the games themselves are kind of telling stories in a cinematic way. again, it's going to be hard to please everybody. There's always going to be people, again, they're just going to hate it because, I didn't imagine this player playing this. I don't like that they didn't include this in the movie, yada yada. But I think it's possible. I think once studios take this seriously, because I don't know that they have taken them seriously. I don't know that we've seen the amount of video game movies that we've seen superhero movies. Because there was a lot of really bad superhero movies after Spider-Man that came out that they were trying to ride the wave and they fucking sucked. You know what I mean? Like I think of Ghost Rider. I think of the Fantastic Four. I think both of them, both versions of the Fantastic Four. Like, so I think once somebody hits on it and there's a wave, we'll start seeing hopefully some good adaptations of this stuff.
What would you say is the best video game movie that you've seen?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. Video game movie that I've seen. What is it? There's a Mortal Kombat movie that came out in like the 90s, I want to say. Yeah, that might be my favorite video game movie. And if you watch it back now, and it's kind of cheesy, but there was just something about it. Was just dope to me. Like it was super cool. Yeah. There was like so they released the Mortal Kombat movie that came out like a year ago or something like that. That was absolute ass. It was terrible. It wasn't good.
Really? I didn't watch it.
Yeah, no, don't watch it. You're not missing anything. There was like the cool thing was like the Scorpion guy, the guy that plays Scorpion. He was really good in it, but like spoiler alert, he's not in it a whole lot. The rest of it is kind of trash. But I remember when I was in high school, there was like this machinima short thing that they did with Mortal Kombat where they kind of, they made like Mortal Kombat people like real people. They kind of made it like a real life adaptation. And this was like a machinima short. So it wasn't like there was a whole big budget into it, but it did look really good. And I feel like if they would have gone that route, if they go that route and go big budget, like we could see a great Mortal Kombat movie. And I think that's the case with a lot of these video game movies. Like if we just kind of adapt it in a way that, because I think that shit was universally loved. The shorts that they made for that. If they did that with a cool IP, I see the possibility of it being a great movie.
I think just for me, it's like until we get one, because I don't think we've gotten one yet.
Yeah,
like,
probably not.
We've gotten successful. I want to say like the Sonic movie, Detective Pikachu. They were fun, like kids movies, right? They were good. They're good kids movies, but it's not like, oh my god, this is like the Dark Knight level.
Yeah, sure, 100%. Yeah, and so I mean, all we could do is wait, or I can become a famous director and do it myself. We'll see.
If you could adapt a video game into a movie, what would it be?
I really love Red Dead Redemption. I've always thought that would make a great video game. Just kind of like this outlaw trying to clear his name, doing work for the cops, and then they turn on him at the end. I think that's a great storyline.
I've never played the Red Dead game, so.
Oh my gosh, I just ruined it for you.
It's fine. I probably would have never played it.
The first one, they're both really good, but yeah, that's the first one's an all-time classic in my opinion.
Buzz Lightyear says Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider.
Didn't they make a new Tomb Raider movie?
Yeah, they did with
from Ex Machina.
I forget. Yeah, the chick from Ex Machina. Yeah.
I wonder if it was any good.
I didn't watch it, so I don't know.
I mean, it didn't get a sequel, so probably not.
Yeah, probably not. That's a very good point. I don't think it did well. Yeah, she won. The chick had won. She won like an Academy Award, I think, for something. I forget what it was. And then
Alicia Vikander, something like that.
Yep, Alicia Vikander. She was in Room or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it flopped. I guess it wasn't good.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
I used to think the Angelina Jolie ones when I was a kid were bomb as fuck, but then I grew up. I think I just had a crush on Angelina Jolie. I think that's what that was.
When did the Tomb Raider movie come out? 2018.
I was in middle school when it came out. Wait, 2018?
2018 was not that long ago, but it feels like it was forever ago.
Yeah, it does.
Dude, anything pre-2020 feels like it was a whole other lifetime.
Yeah, like part of me doesn't realize that I've been out of college for 5 years, about 5 years.
Yeah.
And then I think back and I'm just like, I think back at like, I look at pictures and I can't even remember people's names. And I'm like, yep, it's been a while. Yeah. I I don't remember who that is. I don't remember who that is.
But I had like so I just looked it up. The Tomb Raider reboot movie had 52% on Rotten Tomatoes. So probably not that great.
Yeah. To answer your question, Buzzkill, my bad.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. We'll
Detective
see.
Pikachu was really good. You brought that up, and I forgot about that movie. That was a sleeper.
Have you all watched
Yeah.
Witcher?
Oh, I heard The Witcher's actually really good, but it's a show. But I hear it's really good. I hear it's like ridiculously good.
So I had a friend who really was into The Witcher, and he really liked season 1, but was not a fan of season 2.
Oh, you know what? I think I heard that from my brother too. My brother said season 1 was really good. I think they said season 2 was lackluster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it went away from the games. What?
I
Right?
think they're more based on the books, right?
Yeah. I was gonna also say that to be fair, like the Witcher video games are based off of a book, so like maybe we consider that a book adaptation. I don't know. Uh,
I know what I think they could do actually is take a game. Like I think you could make a cyberpunk movie.
yeah, that game was incredibly disappointing, but the universe, yeah, I think you could 100%.
You know they
Like,
just released a patch for the game.
oh, what does the patch do?
So it's like basically it makes the game feel more alive and takes out a lot of the bugs and fixes a couple quests. And it's like the next gen patch.
Yeah,
So
I'm not gonna play the game again though. Like, I'm not gonna do the whole thing.
I'm gonna wait until because they supposedly they're gonna come out with new DLC that like adds a bunch of story content. So I'm gonna wait till then.
Yeah, I'm down for that. Like, give me some DLC, that'd be cool. But I'm not gonna replay the game again. The ending was, I mean, I guess there's like a bunch of different endings, but my ending was trash.
Wait,
The ending I got.
what ending did you get?
I went into space.
Oh, so did you completed the final mission with Rogue?
Spoilers for Cyberpunk, by the way.
Spoilers for Cyberpunk. That game's been out for like 2 years now. God damn it. But yeah, I think I did. I forget exactly who I yeah, I did do it with Rogue. Yeah, and you but then like she leaves, I think, and then I'm supposed to rob this, there's like a casino in space,
Yeah.
and I go to rob it, and that's just how it ends. Like I'm just going to space.
Yeah, the game was. I mean, I think for me, I enjoyed playing it, but because I didn't believe the hype of it being like, oh, this is gonna be change video games forever. Like this is basically a Bethesda RPG.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that the thing was that I did believe the hype that it was going to change video games forever, and I was like, no, this game is not that at all. It's just, yeah, it's a Bethesda for shooter RPG type thing.
Pretty much.
It was a
All
letdown.
right. I think we've kind of went on a tangent from the main topic, so let's stop it there. Anyways, Mikey, you want to close this out?
All right. And so yeah, so that's it for our 1v1 show. And if you guys like what we do here, please give us a follow on our socials on Instagram, Twitter, and you can support us on Patreon where we have 3 tiers. And we also have an audio podcast. And we are currently on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, and Google Music. So if you aren't able to catch us live, we're over there. You can download the show or listen to it. If you missed came in late, you can catch the beginning there. But if you want to stick around, we'll be here for the post show, so stay tuned for that. But for now, I am your host, your co-host, Hyphy, aka Mikey, along with
Your boy, Geo, Huey Flow.
Boom and
Angel Hernandez. I have no crazy creative name.
and we will see you guys next week, as always, at 11 a.m. PST on the 1v1 show. So till then, we will see you guys later.
Peace.
And we're back. And
We are back.
yeah, it's just gonna be me and Gio for the post show because Angel had to, has a busy life. Like, and props to
Yes,
him.
sir.
He was a really good guest today.
Yeah, yeah. No, I always thought Angel would do good
I
on
think
the
he,
show. Like,
yeah, I think he actually talked more than you did, which is
yeah,
impressive.
he did.
Very impressive.
He
Because I was like, wow. Oh, I forgot to tell him that he carried the show, in my opinion.
he is someone that like I've always had like good discussions,
Uh-huh.
especially about like video games and movies with, and I thought he'd be kind of a natural fit on the show.
Yeah,
And
and I like what he had to say with during the showdown.
and another thing is because I met Angel when I started going to Sacramento State, when I started going to college. He was the president of the film club, so that's how I met him, and then we got cool. And he's overall a cool guy. Cool guy, that guy.
Yeah, and
Probably the only other person I know that had like all the same sports teams as me. So, hey,
random
but
question.
yeah.
But what's your favorite cereal?
Ah, shit.
Well,
I
mine
think.
is cinnamon toast crunch, and
Ooh,
we got
that's up
the
there.
cinnamon toast crunch cupcakes, and it's amazing. It's
Yeah,
exactly
I
what
think
you think
I.
it would taste like.
Ooh, I think I might agree with you on that one.
Cinnamon toast
So
crunch,
one of
really?
my, I think I gotta go with you on that one because not only is the cereal delicious, but the milk afterwards is also delicious.
Yeah, it's like a horchata.
Yeah, that's one of the key factors. Yo, why has no one made cinnamon toast crunch or shada?
Because we make it ourselves in a bowl.
We should, and we'll make millions, millions. But yeah, I think I agree with you. I think cinnamon toast crunch, cookie crisp, and I think cocoa pebbles are like my top three.
I like fruity pebbles. Is my second.
Ooh.
Because
One of my
same thing with the
students
cereal. Just the
at
cereal becomes like some weird sugary rainbow color. It tastes really good. But yeah, what about your
I'd say
students?
one of my students works at a whatchamacallit. She works at this cookie place that they
Mm-hmm.
have a bunch of different like cookies that have like cinnamon toast crunch or fruity pebble flavors. And she would bring it because she's like, yeah, I basically make the cookies and then I could take whatever I want home. So what she'll do is she'll make a box or like two boxes of cookies and then bring them to school and then just sell them to students. Because the cookies at the bakery they cost like $4 a pop. They're kind of big, but they're also that's kind of overpriced. But she'll sell them at school for like $2, and like she'll like sell out. So pretty smart on her part.
And so,
Also gave
what?
oh go ahead.
Oh, no, what were you going to say? I was going to
I would say she
talk
also
about
gave
something.
me one that was a blueberry muffin
Uh-huh.
flavor. Tasted just like a blueberry muffin. It was really good.
All right. So when's your spring break again? Is it not next week?
No, it's April
It's in
1st.
2 weeks. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm currently on spring break right now, and yeah, I think I'm gonna spend it by trying to beat Horizon Forbidden West, and
Okay,
yeah, and get trying to learn some like other media skills too, like visual graphics stuff too.
for sure. I'm gonna go to San Diego for my spring break.
How long are you gonna go down there for?
From the 4th to the 7th.
Hmm.
So essentially 4 days, but really like three, more like 3.5.
You have any activities planned or like events, or you just
No,
going?
I'm gonna meet up. I'm gonna meet up with some people like Josh and probably Jennifer, who are friends of the show. They live out in San Diego. One of my old roommates from college lives out in San Diego, and then my friend Cassie and my friend Tatiana, who live out there. So I just never been to San Diego, and I've always wanted to go. I know you've been,
Uh,
right?
twice, and yeah, I would say that's one of my favorite cities. To
Any
I would live there.
any recommendations?
Uh, I mean, hold on. There's a taco place, but there's a lot of good taco places down there.
I've
Oh
heard
wait,
the
there's also a
Mexican.
burger place. Hold on, let me look at my Instagram.
I
Oh,
heard that San Diego always says that they have better Mexican food than LA.
I mean, I believe it's like you can see the border from there.
It's like right there. Yeah, that's true.
Because I remember when I went, a friend drove us like to the water and like over there. You see that fence and the red lights? Yeah, that's the border. I'm like, oh, oh wow. Like I didn't realize that's the closest I've ever been to Mexico.
If I if my passport wasn't expired, I probably would have just hopped the border for a day and go to Tijuana.
Hmm, be cool. Wait, where is
Yeah.
the taco place? I can't find it, but it's really good. I don't think you can go wrong down there. And there's also like a food plaza area. I forgot what it's called. Where I had like this big ass burger. Damn. Dang. Never mind. I was like the only person I would have to ask someone, but I was like, it's not worth it.
Want I just got that. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I could just ask them myself
Hey, you
and
do.
be like, "Hey, I'm going to SD. What are recommendations?" And I can just get that. Anyways, but like, I'm excited, dude. So someone on because I put it on Instagram, like, "Hey, give me some San Diego recommendations." And this one person was like, "Potato Chip Rock,"
How's
and so I
that?
looked it up, and it's a hike, and there's like this potato chip potato chip shaped cliff, and it's like, do you not know me? Like, one, I hate heights, and two, I hate ledges. I don't like cliffs because I always have I feel like my clumsy ass is going to
Oh, yeah,
fall
the
off and die.
Sunset Cliffs is that is a must see when during a sunset. Like I haven't. That's one of those like sunsets you see on the cover of like a romantic book, and it's like that every time.
Really? Oh,
Well,
okay.
every time I
I know.
went, I don't know if it's like I don't know if it's a lie there, but like every time I went, and
Yeah.
we went at sunset, it was like that is a picture Kodak moment. Not that we were sponsored by Kodak. I don't know why I said that.
All right. Sounds good. I'm gonna go to the beach probably a couple days. To be a beach bum. I'm
Yeah.
excited. I'm staying in an area called Little or Cortez Hill.
Are staying at a friend's house or like Airbnb?
Airbnb. It's a
Did you just hang up? Uh, you just hung up on me.
the hell? What just happened?
You hung up on me. I'm still on the call.
What? I'm what happened? I'm still on the call too.
No, you just came back in the call.
Yeah, my thing just glitched out.
Well, let me. Where's your camera though?
Why is my camera off? Hold on.
If you're currently hacking us, can you please
Oh,
stop?
please don't hack us. Russia, stop hacking us.
There we go.
All right, I'm back. Jesus, that was weird.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'll if I see you later today, I'll show you the Airbnb.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh yeah. So let's just and have a short, very short post show because I'm a little hungry. I think you are too, or like, are you not eating till like 3?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna wait till 3. I'm gonna just probably get ready. I should probably, I should probably tidy up my room a little bit.
That's
This
exactly what I'm gonna do. Because tomorrow, plug in my own Hyphy Soul stream on my Hyphy Soul account. I'm gonna be doing fitness streams again, workout streams, because I've been slacking, and summer's coming up.
feel it. Same. I should also start getting on a diet. Probably going back and jogging and working out more, which I have not been doing for like a year. So it's been bad.
Oh, I
Now
thought
I
you've been
gotta be
doing
good.
the boxing.
Oh no, that so Ray canceled the class because basically the other two people that were doing it with us, they kind of stopped going. So
Yeah, damn, that sucks.
yeah,
All right then.
yeah.
Well, on that note, I guess we will see you guys next week on the 1v1 show. Premieres at 11 a.m. PST, as always, as usual. And shout out to our guest host for today, Angel, a great
Yes,
co-host,
sir.
a great guest host, and yeah, that's what you have to say. And yeah. And shout out to everyone in the chat. Kill out ear, hello trans, nice Samantha, and we will see you guys next week on the 1v1 show. Until then, see you later. Peace.
Peace.